Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Donaldson and I'm a Customer Success Specialist here at Cisco. In today's how-to video, I'm going to show you how to use the Plug-and-Play Connect portal that Cisco provides for discovering Cisco Catalyst Center. Okay, so how does PnP Connect work? Well, as with all other discovery methods, it still requires a DHCP lease, because a factory default device has to obtain network connection information so that it can reach out to the Catalyst Center server and other endpoints. However, this DHCP lease must include at least one DNS server that's reachable, an NTP server in order to synchronize time, and it must have access to the internet. So the plug-and-play agent will attempt to resolve a hard-coded, fully qualified domain name called devicehelper.cisco.com. So next, the plug-and-play agent, when it attempts to make that connection, if it's successful, it will identify itself to the plug-and-play portal by providing its serial number and, if applicable, its SUDI certificate. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. Next, the Plug-and-Play Connect portal will begin looking for a matching record for that device in our database of customer smart accounts. If a match is found for that device's serial number and its SUDI certificate, and it exists in a customer smart account, and then also if a controller profile has been configured in that smart account that matches the type of device that is attempting to make a connection, if all of those things line up, then the device will be provided with the information that's configured in the controller profile, and then the device will redirect itself to attempt to connect to Catalyst Center on your local network. All right, let's dig into this Plug-and-Play Connect workflow a little bit deeper. So in step number 1, the device will boot up and it will attempt to connect to the Plug-and-Play portal because it's going to go through the process of getting a DHCP lease, not finding option 43, not being able to resolve pnpserver.yourdomain.com, and so it will fall back to this final method of Plug-and-Play Connect. If it's able to connect to the Plug-and-Play portal on the internet, then it will pass along its serial number and its SUDI certificate, which the SUDI certificate is something that Cisco puts on a hardware device, an actual chip on the motherboard of the device. And it's a hardware certificate that identifies the device and cannot be tampered with. So it's a more secure way of identifying the device itself. So it'll pass that information along to the Plug-and-Play Connect portal. And as we mentioned on the previous slide, our backend system for the Plug-and-Play Connect portal will begin searching through our database of customer smart accounts in order to find a match for this specific device. And if that matching record is found, then the Plug-and-Play Connect portal will check that smart account for a configured controller profile that would match the device that's checking in. If that controller profile exists, then it will provide the Catalyst Center IP address or its DNS hostname, and optionally you can also include the SSL certificate for Catalyst Center in that profile as well. Now if you do that, the device can use that SSL certificate to make its first connection to Catalyst Center over a connection over HTTPS. Otherwise, the first connection will have to be unencrypted over HTTP so that it can obtain the certificate from Catalyst Center and install it and then reestablish a connection. So, Plug-and-Play Connect will provide that information back to the device. The device will take that information and attempt to connect to the Catalyst Center server. And then if that connection is successful, the discovery and onboarding process continues. Okay, well let's take a look at our lab topology here. So this is going to be the same topology as used in all of our previous videos. However, in this instance, we're using a custom VLAN number 198, which I've specially configured to be layer 2 all the way up to our ISR router in the lab. And the reason for this is that VLAN 198 provides NAT connectivity out to the internet from our lab environment. For my specific environment where we're demonstrating this, we have to use NAT, and we have to go through this process in order to get out to the internet. So the DHCP server is running on our ISR router. We've omitted option 43. We've omitted any DNS domain name, from the lease, but we are providing a DNS server that has the ability to resolve an internet-hosted DNS name, which is devicehelper.cisco.com. Finally, in the smart account that we're using for this demonstration, I have it configured with a controller profile that is set up to redirect the device to our lab's Catalyst Center server. And I have also the C9500-16X switch that we're using added to the inventory and identified using its serial number. So it's in our inventory in our smart account. It's configured with a controller profile in order to find Catalyst Center. And so when the device checks in with the Plug and Play Connect portal, it will find a matching record for that device and it will redirect it to our Catalyst Center server. All right, well, let's skip over to the lab and take a look at what this looks like. I have a little bit of a config snippet here just to reiterate what's going on in this lab setup. So we have a NAT VLAN DHCP pool that's handing out 198.18 addresses. And we do have some DNS servers that are able to resolve public records. And this is on the ISR router in our lab. The router has a sub interface for VLAN 198, and it is the gateway at 198.18.0.1, and it's providing NAT translation. Now on the upstream 9300 switch that this 9500 switch is connected to, we're using that PnP startup VLAN 198 command at the global level. If we go over to our Catalyst Center here, I'll have to delete the device because it's once again discovered Catalyst Center. So we'll delete it out of our plug and play inventory here. And let's take one other look here at the smart account where we are setting this up. So in this example smart account that I have created a controller profile and done this by clicking the add profile name, and simply provided it with some connection information for the Catalyst Center server. Now there are options for providing an IP or a DNS host name. In this case, I chose to provide an IP version 4 address and the protocol of HTTP over port 80. We can choose HTTPS, however, if we do that, we have to upload the certificate from Catalyst Center as well, so that can be provided back to the device. So that's our controller profile. That will be the information that gets sent back to the PnP agent. In our inventory of devices, we can see we've only got one device here, which is our Catalyst 9500 switch, and we've provided the serial number for the device as the identifying information. And you can see the current status is pending redirection. So now, if we go over to our switch and reconnect to it, we can enter the command pnpa service reset, and we'll say yes. And this will begin the process of factory defaulting the device, after which it will reboot, and then we will see it come up and attempt to connect to the plug and play portal. So while we're waiting for this to complete, we will fast forward through this. Okay, at this point you can see that our redirection is successful. In the messages we saw going back and forth here, we could see that we connected via HTTPS to devicehelper.cisco.com, and it provided a Plug and Play Connect profile, which was installed on the device, telling us what the IP address of our Plug and Play server is and what port to communicate with it on. So initially we made that connection over port 80, and then once we downloaded the certificate from the Catalyst Center server, we made the reconnection over port 443 using HTTPS. So if we take a look at our Catalyst Center server, you'll see that the switch has shown up in here. You can see that serial number is there, and also this is the NAT IP address that we're using to communicate with the 133 IP of our Catalyst Center server. And also, if we go over to our smart account and we refresh this page, what we should see is the status of the device changing to redirect successful. And if we look at the log entries here, we'll actually see where the device was added, and it had a successful secure connection, and it was successfully authenticated, and then sent the redirection information successfully back to the device itself. And that resulted in the device finding out where to find its local controller. So that's all there is to the process. There is quite a bit of additional detail and setup for the Smart Account and other settings like that that need to be considered. But again, that's kind of outside the scope of this training since we're just demonstrating how it works. All right, well, that concludes our lab today, and this is the last video in the plug-and-play discovery sessions that we've created previous to this. So if you want more information, you can visit our YouTube channel where we have additional videos on information related to Catalyst Center. I also have 4 different links here for plug-and-play Connect resources. The first link goes directly to the user guide for Catalyst Center. And the next 3 links, those are all documents that we have published publicly. And when you visit those documents, you'll notice that they seem rather outdated. They seem like very old documents. And they are. However, the information is still very relevant in them. There's really not much need to update it because not much has changed. But these documents will explain the plug-and-play Connect process. And then there's also a solution guide that explains exactly how it works. Finally, the last link here is the direct link to the Plug-and-Play Connect portal. So you could use this link to go directly to that page, or if you simply go to software.cisco.com and log in with your CCO ID, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there is a section for Network Plug-and-Play where you can click on the link there, and that will redirect you to this portal. But that concludes this demonstration video here. Thanks for watching.